Well, hello there, guys. Welcome back to the Battle of Bagradas. This has been a tough one, without a doubt, guys, and we can see here, just looking at the field, that a lot of these units are still in combat, and more importantly, a lot of these units are still ready to jump into the fight. Now, it definitely looks like we are losing to the Carthaginians, without a doubt. We are going to try and change that. In fact, I'm going to actually go ahead and charge an elephant unit here. 23% chance of a win here for a charge. We actually got it to be disrupted for a bit. That's very helpful. I'm going to move another unit here. I thought we were going to be able to go ahead and charge, but we're going to have to wait. We'll also charge this skirmisher unit. And actually, I want to see if we could charge quite a few of these skirmisher units and basically knock them out of the fight. Over here, as you can see, we could do very well against the mercenary hoplites. So I'm going to go ahead and have them be attacked. And as you can see, they're getting hit pretty badly. I'm going to do the same right here. So right now, our hastati and principes are both doing a great job against the enemy. And for those of you that don't know what hastati and principes are, the principes actually come from the upper classes or the middle classes. They're able to sort of afford their own armor and weaponry, whereas the hastati are still quite a part of the lower classes in general. They're capable warriors in most situations, but they don't have the equipment that the Principes has. So I like how in this game they actually try to kind of mix them together, which does make sense, especially if you needed some more hastati or some more Principes to fill up a particular battalion or formation. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea to mix and match just a little bit. So far, I think we've done all the attacks we can. I'm looking over here. Even against the elephants, there's not much left. We could go ahead and attack the elephants, but as you can see, we're not going to do well against them. The charge is really our best chance at getting any sort of damage on the elephant units. Let's, however, go ahead and start attacking the light javelin men, Numidian light javelin men. It looks like the enemy just refuses to stop using these guys and stop running away. I will move forward here, and I'm going to throw immediately some spears here at the peony foot unit. And actually, it looks like the peony foot are not nearly as good as our hastati. That being said, they are able to run away quite quickly, as is most of the enemy army, and that makes it a lot easier for them to possibly grab a victory here. So I think we're pretty much done. I'm just making sure we don't have any other moves to do, and I don't think we do. We'll probably end the turn here, and we're going to hope for the absolute best. All right, here we go, guys. Turning it over to Carthage once again. All right, so some of their units have rallied, namely their elephants. That's not something that brings us good news, and it looks like some of our Romans have broken once again. The enemy is chasing us. Let's not forget that, historically speaking, this was a Carthaginian victory. So we shouldn't expect to necessarily win this battle unless we've done everything perfectly right. Right there, we actually got a really good defense, but the enemy is holding firm. And as you can see, despite the fact that Carthage is winning, they've still got a lot of men running away from this battlefield. They don't seem certain about their position at all. In fact, they seem pretty nervous. There we go. We got an elephant routing. Beautiful. Fortunately, on this end, the elephant is just going to smash through our lines. But that doesn't mean we can give up. All right. Got a lot of actual damage coming here from the Numidian light javelin men. I mean, they seem to have no problem running away at every single moment of the fight, but when it becomes their turn, that's when they decide to get brave, jump in, attack, and then pull back, which is exactly, admittedly, what javelin men should do. Here we go, and he's broken one of our units. Now, what I don't understand is, why did our unit break? Every single time we attack one of their cavalry units, they seem to run away. They also broke this infantry unit of ours here. Finally, at least some of our light infantry held firm, but you could take a look at that 34% point of damage there. That's pretty serious, guys. That's nothing to scoff at. All right, there come the light javelin men once again. And they've broken some more. So that was actually a few enemy units dispersed, but We're at 40%. I think once we get to 45%, we lose. It could be 60% as well. But as you can see, a lot of the enemy units are still routing. Of course, we have lost more men on this field without a doubt. But at least we've taken a few of the enemy with us. And look at that. We've broken 2 of the enemy pony infantry units. So the pony are quite easy to push back. The problem is they have mostly cavalry and heavy hoplites. So it's not going to really make much of a difference. Here we go. Some men dispersing. And they're still holding firm. I've got to give it to the enemy. They have really held on firm, even after we did a tremendous amount of damage to them. I'm going to see if I can go ahead and impact these guys. They're going to evade, of course, but we've got to try. We'll do the same here to this enemy. And these are the Pueni foot, so I think they should stay put. And in fact, it's exactly what they're doing. We're still attacking them over here, and I'm going to go ahead and attack this turn immediately. So this is not a charge, but as I've explained before, you get the opportunity during a turn to decide whether or not you want to attack or wait till the end of the turn for the attack to resolve. So in this particular case, we went ahead and went straight for the attack, which I think was the right decision, to be honest with you. Let's go ahead and move this guy forward. Fortunately, he can't throw anything at the enemy. We're going to have to wait a turn or two. In the meantime, though, actually, this is pretty close. I'm still going to hold off, though, on attacking the elephant. Let's go ahead and charge. Another Pueni foot unit. Throwing those pilum first, and then going in for the attack. And with these guys, it looks like they're actually not doing too well against the enemy. So we're going to go ahead and we'll charge the javelins. Unfortunately, they're going to evade. I really wish, much like in Pike and Shot, when the enemy evaded, you'd be able to continue through to attack the other enemy over here. Of course, this is a very early version of the game, so that very well may be coming. Let's go ahead and charge here with our Triarii. Actually got a pretty good smash there, and will, of course, attack from here as well. Trying to basically hit the Carthaginians on every angle possible. Fire some shots. Nice. And with this unit, we're going to have to wait a turn or two. Let's go ahead and see if we can do some damage. Nope. What about here? Yes, we certainly can. Not as much as I'd like, but it's quite a bit. There's the Triarii, 25, and we've auto-broken another enemy unit, guys. Look at that. We've got them at 26%. Now, of course, we're losing 40%, but we've got to try to have hope, and having the enemy at 26 is pretty good. I'm going to try to charge, but of course, they're probably going to run, and sure enough, that's exactly what they did. Don't forget, guys, if you enjoy this particular video, make sure to let us know in the comments down below what you would have done differently and how you would have approached the battle. We always like to hear your feedback. Now, with these javelin men, I'm actually going to run back. I'm going to do the same with the Triarii. Just kind of fall back a bit because they're not going to be able to catch the enemy anyway. So I figure we might as well try and catch the enemy another way. Maybe get them behind our lines or go for just the Pueni foot infantry as opposed to the other kinds of infantry. Let's go ahead, throw something at this elephant. Didn't do any damage to the poor thing. Let's go for it. Charge. And unfortunately, the elephant definitely managed to hold their lines. And we might even go for a charge here. Javelin men versus javelin men. And look at that. They're once again escaping. Really frustrating, but I guess that's what they want to do. They want us to be frustrated. Let's go ahead and throw some javelins at that guy. I think we've pretty much set everyone up. And this is one major problem. This part of the enemy army, not only can they evade all the attacks we throw at them, but they're beginning to flank us. And you can even tell over here on the map, a lot of red over there, really about to get behind us here and do some serious damage. I'm going to move back a bit, fall back really, and continue the attack, but there's really nothing we could do about the enemy cavalry, and that worries me to no end. Let's see if we can get a nice throw at the back of these Pueni foot units. Boom, 22, great shot. So we could definitely see that placement counts for a lot, because they just got absolutely massacred. And let's end the turn, turning it over to Carthage, guys. But first... All right, so routing at least 40% of their troops and 25% more than you have lost, or routing 60% of their troops. So This makes sense. They can't rout us yet because it has to be 25% more than we have lost. So if they can get us to 46%, I believe they win. Or not 46%, sorry, 51%, I believe they can win. But we'll have to see what happens. We're ending the turn here, turning it over to Carthage once again. And look at all those bodies on the field. This has been a hell of a fight, no matter how you look at it. Very even there on the left side. And look at all those Carthaginians running. It almost makes me feel like we're winning the battle, but we know better. Nonetheless, we did okay. Here we go. We've got a unit breaking. And as you can see, that's brought us down to 42%, which is a lot, as you can imagine. He's just got to get us above that 50, and I think he's got the win, especially if some of the Carthaginian troops regroup, which I actually anticipate happening. There's so many of the enemy troops running. One or two of them has got to go ahead and decide to come back to the battle. Even some of our troops have done the same, so I see no difference here with the Carthaginians. And there we go, more with their javelins. There's got to be some sort of penalty eventually for those javelins attacking, because at this point, they are just crushing us. Speaking of being crushed, we're being trampled by elephants. Here we go. 24, and they've broken off another one of our javelin units here. Of course, one of them is going to evade. Probably a good job. Finally, we're evading at the correct time. Poeni foot coming in. Come on, we've held them off before, boys. You can do it again. Ooh, but not with an attack from the cavalry. And even though we've got Triarii, the cavalry is doing a ton of damage to us because we're actually facing the Poeni foot, so they can hit us on their flanks. And the same is true for our Triarii there on the right side. I think one of the few things I would change if I could play this battle again is to keep our Triarii in the center and just basically force the enemy to flank us with the cavalry and only then turn our Triarii towards the enemy and sort of face them, because they seem to love just running away during this battle, just trying to run as quickly as they can off the field. Seems to be their main course of action. Okay, we've dispersed some of the enemy there. Some of our men are dispersing too, though actually quite a lot of our men are dispersing. Over here, we're still holding firm. There's a lot of fighting going on here. We're getting attacked by numerous enemy units, but we're still managing to hold. Okay, guys, our turn, and we're still around for another one. Very cool. I think we know what we need to do. Go for the Poeni foot. They've broken, and I knew that would happen because they were stuck here with a lot of their own men behind them. We've also got our general unit here. I definitely want him to do something, but there's not much he can do. I know that sounds weird, but it's the truth. There's really not much he can do. He can't move out of here. He can't charge because he's being attacked by this elephant. I'm thinking the only thing we can do to help him is try and send some assistance against that elephant. Obviously, we can't attack him this way, so we're going to just have to wait. I am going to throw some missiles here at the Poeni foot. 25. Nice. One of them just dropped down right there. That was beautiful. Good throw, guys. And yeah, we're just not going to win that fight. That's not going to happen. We need to try and get some of our units forward here. First, let's do this. This Triarii unit is going to be finished very soon. Can we do anything to the elephant? Nope. All we can do is just kind of stay in battle and hope for the best. Over here, we also shouldn't attack because, once again, we're going to get smashed. But we might be able to assist our men here with a charge. So that's what I'm going to do. Send in the Hastati Principes for an attack. And I think we can also attack now. As you can see with the charge of this other unit, it really increased the attack power of our Hastati and Principes unit here. So I think that turned out really, really well. Let's go ahead and see if we can't get a nice throw here on the enemy. Kill them, boys. Still very even. Let's see if we can smash these guys with the Triarii. That's a good chunk of damage out of a cavalry unit. Very good chunk of damage. I think we can attack with these guys too. Boom, 19. They still held firm, but man, our guys are definitely learning to be more aggressive, and that's all good news. Slaughter them to a man. Again, our chances here of winning are quite low. And we just saw one of our men actually drop off there. Kill the elephants. It's not as crazy as you might think. I have had some games where I've managed to kill elephants using those units. And here we go. We'll charge the Pueni foot. Even our Triarii, who are really made primarily for enemy cavalry, seem to do very well against the Pueni foot. Nonetheless, I think one way or another, we're going to be losing very, very soon here. But not without putting up a great fight. I mean, you could just see the battlefield has a ton of enemies on it. Some of our own men too, but we've definitely shown the Carthaginians that we're not to be trifled with. There will be battles in the future. And obviously, if you want to see some more of these battles, let us know in the comments down below, guys. It's the only way we really know whether you guys like watching our stuff. So hit that like button, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you want to see some more Field of Glory 2 action, make sure to name it explicitly in the comments. Guys, we want to see some more Field of Glory 2 so that we know essentially what you guys are interested in. Look at all those routing enemies. Man, almost feels like we can win. But then I start seeing our guys break, and I realize that's just not a possibility. Here we go. I think that elephant's going to finally break us. Incredibly, he seems to still be alive. Now over there, he managed to break another group of Hastati. In fact, he broke our general. Our general's still alive, Marcus Attilis Regulus, but he's now trapped, and I think he's probably going to be dispersed here quite soon. All right, they managed to break some of our cavalry, and this is hilarious. Our cavalry is retreating with their cavalry. How weird would that be to start running off the field, and suddenly you notice enemy horses next to you, and they're also running away? It'd be a bit of a weird meeting there, to say the least. All right, it's nice that the Triarii are also able to kind of watch their six. That's kind of cool. Oh, nice kill on our Triarii unit. And there we go, managed to break some of the enemy. They'll probably disperse as well. This area, though, is remaining very strong, and we've auto-broke another enemy, and this time it's actually mercenary hoplites. It's not the first time we've broken them, but they are much stronger than the Pueni foot. So 48 to 32%. As long as they get us up to that magical 60, they still win, but this is giving us a little bit of hope. I'm actually seeing some disruptions here. A lot of units running off the field, of course. Not just our own, but just units in general. So maybe there is a small chance here for redemption. We'll have to wait and see. There we go, some Pueni foot being dispersed. Always puts a smile on my face. Unfortunately, a lot of our units are being dispersed as well. We will try to chase these guys, but they're going to run away. It seems to be their usual thing, is to evade us as much as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and just try to hit them with missiles. Seems to be the only way we'll get them anyway. And I'm not going to attack. I'm just going to move forward and keep my units there. And actually, the Triarii might be able to do some damage to this elephant. Obviously, killing one of their elephants would be a huge bonus. Doesn't look like it's going to happen this time, though. Let's go for that Pueni foot. Throw those Pilum, and wonderful, 46 down. Those are the kind of numbers I'm looking for, guys. Fortunately, look at that. The enemy flank is already turning towards us. I also love the different shields. As you can imagine, during this time period, you couldn't cast the same shield every time. That was pretty much a rarity. Some of the more organized groups, like the Romans, were able to cast similar-looking shields for the most part. But the Greeks, the Carthaginians, a lot of these other, cultural groups, and many of them very advanced, if not just as advanced as the Romans, would tend to have different shields for each soldier. So it's sort of still very regimented, don't get me wrong, but at least they were able to express themselves with their shields if they could afford them. Again, for a regular farmer to afford a shield was farcical. It just wouldn't happen. But for a soldier that's had some training to purchase a shield, it would be a bit of a rite of passage. All right, it's good to see that some of our armored cavalry, I'm saying, you don't do that move, has decided to return to the battlefield. One of them is a general. That's good bit of news. Let's see, can we do anything here? Once again, they're going to evade. There's just not too much we can do. Although now that they're stuck in combat with our men here, we might be able to sneak in an attack. Oh, they let us attack. But as soon as we attack, they fall back. Not very fair, guys. Not very fair at all. All right, let's go ahead and attack here. We're so close to killing the Libyo-Phoenician cavalry. We're routing them anyway. There's another one down. They're fragmented, but they're still fighting, which is amazing to me. Come on, guys. 8, they're still holding firm. Got to give it to these guys. They truly care about winning. And I think that's going to be it for our movement this turn. And now I'm actually starting to sound a little more confident. I'm like this turn, like we're going to actually have a next turn. We might not, but things are going better than expected. It doesn't mean we're going to win, believe me. Let's end the turn. Here we go, some units dispersing. It's always good to see the enemy units disperse because as long as they're on the field, even if they're routing, there's a chance they will reform and come back to the fight. When they disperse, though, you know they're gone for good. They've dropped their weapons. They've headed back to their farms. They're not even interested in war anymore. We've essentially broken their spirit of fighting. And even though this is a totally different time period, look at that, we got an enemy elephant dispersed. Even though this is a totally different time period, one thing that I've learned about warfare was watching a World War I documentary where the question was asked, how can one man guard, 100 German prisoners? And the answer is simple. Once you've lost your will to fight, you're not going to try and keep fighting. You've basically given up. And that's exactly what happens when a unit disperses. It's very unlikely that they're going to come back to the fight. It's very unlikely they're going to come back to the war at all. Their experience with combat has been horrific. It's been a defeat. And unless they're rallied and rallied properly, those guys are going to stay out of war for a long time to come. And probably a good idea, too. So here we go. We're still fighting. We've got an enemy flank charge from the elephant. That's not going to feel well. 27. I'm surprised it didn't break our unit. We're lucky it didn't. And I really like how the Triarii, despite being totally flanked here, have managed to fight off a lot of cavalry attacks. Of course, now they can't. They finally broke, but it's interesting to see how long that actually continued to happen for. All right, they're going to go ahead and take us on with their light cavalry. More disruption, 17. We still held firm. All right, there we go. Breaking another unit. Amazing. Another unit, guys. The cavalry finally broke. Okay, it's back to us, and man, I thought this was already going to be over. I thought this was going to be a 10-minute video, but we are still fighting, guys. Pretty amazing. All right, let's go ahead and target the enemy here. think we're just going to have to ignore the enemy auxilia, really, because every time we attack them, they run away. But we can also keep them away from our men. Got to get very lucky to catch them off guard. Otherwise, that's just not going to happen. Let's see if we can fight off these guys. 31, and we've broken another enemy unit. Some of their units held firm. It looks like regular old mercenary hoplites. Pretty good unit, especially compared with their Poeni Lightfoot, who couldn't fight if their lives depended on it. There we go. And let's see if we can finish these guys off. Of course, we still have to attack the elephant or the enemy cavalry. This cannot stop, and right now it's not a fair fight in the slightest. But we're still going to keep trying to win. We're not going to give up so easily. Let's see if we can get a shot here. I don't think we can because he's in close combat, which is really unfortunate. We'll start moving this way at least. And look at these light javelin men. They don't seem to be doing too well either. We'll move them forward too. Maybe they'll get lucky here. And this time I'm going to turn towards the enemy. And we'll bring our general in here as well to assist. Yeah, I think we're going to have to wait a little bit, at least until next turn. And the really frustrating thing is all of their cavalry units. I'm going to go ahead and turn around with our Principes. I'm going to start marching backwards. Well, not backwards, but marching back to the fight. I figure if we can at least take out the Poeni Lightfoot, forget the enemy cavalry, we can win the battle. So that's going to be my main focus. But it doesn't look like we're in a very good position to attack anyone right now. We can do a pretty good attack here, I think. 38, nice. Fragmented the enemy, but we pushed them back. And see, we want to remain in combat with them. We don't want them being pushed back. Over here, I'm amazed that this group hasn't given up yet. And don't forget that our general is he over here? Or maybe he's already been killed. He was one of these three units. He might be dead, believe it or not. So our general's already taken the old dirt nap, as we like to call it. And I don't think there's going to be anything we can do there. So let's end the turn. Hope for the best. I will bring forward some javelin men, of course. And we'll end the turn. I'm really, really proud of our men and just how long it's taken them to break. This guy auto-broke, but, I mean, they've held firm for so long. It's really amazing. It's almost a miracle. But I think they're getting to the point now where they're getting very tired. That unit's broken, and I was kind of under the impression they would break. When they lose that many men, there's just very little that can be done. As you can see, they're breaking us left and right. And we're at 56%. Once we get to that 60%, it's an auto lose for us. So that's all they need to do is break a couple more of our men. And actually, look at that, them throwing javelins behind some pretty good cover. That was actually a really good move. And I think one of the reasons that the Carthaginians won here, besides the massive elephants, is the amount of missiles that they had, missile units, I should say, and the way they were able to use and manipulate those missile units and then retreat seconds later. It was really actually quite amazing to watch. It's just basically throw those missiles, retreat, come back, throw those missiles, retreat, force the enemy to charge you, retreat, and just, sort of continue that sort of strategy. Actually, more of a Parthian strategy than anything else, to just kind of fire those arrows. Basically, horse archer strategy, if you will. Fire the arrows, retreat, and then return for more. And that's what they've been doing the whole battle. And it's worked out really well for them. So there we go. A lot of our units dispersing. Although I believe that at the end of this battle, there's going to be tremendous bloodshed on both sides. Of course, we're going to lose a lot more men than the enemy, but look at that. We've broken another Poeni Lightfoot, and we've broken an enemy cavalry unit, the Gallic Spanish cavalry. Of course, they're not that interested necessarily in sacrificing their lives for Carthage, but it's pretty cool that we got two units to break away at once. And that really also has to do with the morale check. So when you rout an enemy unit, the units next to them get a morale check. If they fail it, there is a chance they could run away, and that's exactly what just happened there. It doesn't look like we're going to be able to attack with this unit. Move forward a bit. These Triarii are terrified. What about these guys? They can get a nice little attack. And look at that. We broke another unit. Very cool. Getting some lucky kills here, of course. And like I said, there's not much else we can do. We're not in a position to be deciding the fate of the enemy. Unless we got really lucky there, that's not going to happen. We're not going to be able to catch them anyway, so move forward a bit. Let's try to attack this elephant on a flank charge. We did disrupt him. Pretty nice. And we actually fragmented the elephant. That is good news, to say the least. But the rest of our guys are pretty badly wounded. That guy just dropped dead right there, man. He's way off. Wow. Okay, I think we still got some men that can attack here. Once again, evading. But maybe with enough evading, we'll just get them to evade right off the map and take the victory. All right, guys, we're ending the turn. Remember, all they have to do is get to that 60%, and the battle is theirs. Hold, boys, hold. All right, this was my concern, is the rear attack. And it actually disrupted us. They're sending everybody to surround that Hastati Principe unit. And I think I know why. I think it's probably the most dangerous unit for us, at least, on the battlefield right now. Been really surprised at how well the two fought together. And once again, another rear attack. We were trying to move these guys out of the way, but that's the problem. Even when you try to move back to the battlefield, the enemy can still do tremendous damage to you. And this is no exception. There we go. We got some units rallying. Nice. Wow, 30. Elephant got a little upset right then. Okay, and some of our units broke, unfortunately. 57%. We got some boys dispersing there. We'll do what we can, guys, but there's not much left to do. Taking a look around here. We've basically lost everybody on the field. I think all we can do right now is wait and hope for the best. We can still go for some interesting attacks. We'll go for this one first. And it looks like we managed to charge and actually hit the light javelin men. Let's see if we can charge and hit these guys. In fact, we're just going to turn and throw our javelins at them. Show them we're still in this fight. We'll do the same with these fellows. There we go. Eat some metal. And sure enough, they're going to evade. But again, I mean, one benefit is we just managed to get these guys to break, which is great. But number two, we're getting them away from our main army. So even if they're going to run, at least they can't do any serious damage to our main army. Let's send these Triarii out. Of course, we fell for the trap. They're always going to run no matter what we do. But hopefully we can catch some of them with our cavalry. If not, I'm still going to try to attack them. I think we can definitely agree that the enemy was intimidated by us during this battle. Not looking forward to meeting us face to face for a fight. A bit cowardly, if you ask me. And we're going to turn and throw at these guys too. 9. That should be enough to at least do some damage. And I think we will end our turn. There's really no point in fighting back against the elephants. All we can do is hold our ground. So we will end the turn here, guys. All right, some of the enemy units rallying here. All right, they've disrupted. They should be able to break us this turn. If not, I'm going to be extremely surprised. But they're getting a lot of rallies here, and this would be a perfect opportunity. If I were playing, of course, as the Carthaginians, this is when I would be doing my main attacks. And they've got us up to 59%. I think this is going to be the final turn. It might not be, but it's definitely getting there. Flank attack with cavalry. That's got to wipe us out. And we still held firm. All right, flank attack with the elephant. I'm amazed that these guys are still around. I mean, they're fighting an elephant. They're still not giving up. Unbelievable, guys. We've lasted again. Against all odds, we've lasted again. All right, maybe we go for an attack with the Triarii. Flank attack. Not too great, but I think at this point just about anything is good. We will attack here with the melee. Seems to be very, very even. We'll do the same here. And don't forget that there's an enemy general in here, so even if we're going to lose the fight, I'd love to get a kill on one of the enemy generals. Make them regret getting into this fight to begin with. Kill the elephants. Didn't manage to do it this time. Maybe next turn. Once again, not much to do here. And the same goes for this area. I think the enemy finally has us. Let's end the turn. You guys see that new camera? Oh, I bet you weren't expecting that, huh? There we go. One of our units broke. They've got us to 61%, and this should be a victory for the enemy. It's tough to accept, but, you know, it is what it is. I think we got very close, guys. I think if we had the chance of playing the battle again, we might even manage to get a win in this fight. But that's not the case, so we'll see what happens here, and hopefully everything will go very, very well. 67% they got us up to. I can't wait to see the actual full casualties from the game. So similar to a lot of games in this same vein from Slytherin Matrix, we have the really cool ability to see the wounded and the dead at the end of a battle. And I really like that. I think it's much more realistic because the fact is, during a battle, you're going to have wounded, you're going to have dead, probably a lot more wounded than dead. You know, somebody gets stabbed in the leg, they can't move, but perhaps they're able to save the guy. This is probably quite common during this time period. Maybe a stray javelin flies up in the sky, goes through your shoulder. You can survive, but you can't fight anymore. And these are the kind of situations we're talking about. So there's going to be a lot of both, but I can't wait to see how it's actually added up on the field. So let's take a look here. We are defeated, of course. And this is the total number of killed. So the enemy killed or lost 897 men, 209 cavalry. 1,806 men were wounded, 581 men were captured. As you can see here, we lost 2,724 men killed. A lot of this has to do with the fact that we were the losing side. We were the ones running, so they could run us down. 3,377 wounded and 3,872 captured or deserted, and that's at the end of the battle. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this part 2 of the Battle of Bagradas. If you did, make sure to let us know in the comments down below. This is Agrippa Maxentius. You guys know me from the streams and from the content here on the channel. I hope you guys will see more. Don't forget to subscribe to the Slytherin and Matrix Games channels, and also subscribe to our Twitch channel. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you guys will pick up Field of Glory 2, and maybe I'll see you on the battlefield.